Hi, good afternoon. It's a Jon Gaunt show, and it's an extra one. It's Saturday afternoon. I just couldn't contain myself any longer. I've gone live. If you want to comment, feel free. If you're not there, you can comment later, if you understand what I mean. I'm saying we definitely need an election. There's a petition. Nearly 500,000 people have signed it. It won't achieve anything because that man is too arrogant. But it's clear now. Britain is burning. We need a general election, and we need it now. Are you with me or against me? But where is Keir Starmer? Is he hiding? Is he waiting for the riots to really kick off, if indeed they do, and therefore he can smear us as far right? Britain is in crisis. He should be on top of it, but no, I reckon he's on holiday. We've not heard from him, apart from he's had plenty of time to lecture Israel about Gaza. Mind you, he's made a complete and utter farce of that, hasn't he? Because J.D. Vance has come out today, he's staying with Lami, and he says there's no way the United States of America is going to recognise Palestine. And a bit like Mike Yardley said the other day, what is there to recognise? It's a terrorist state. It hasn't had elections in 14 years. So there's that. He's had time to put his nose in there. Today, 150 lefties, supporters of the Palestine, whatever it's called this week, terrorist organisation, have been arrested in London because it's now a proscribed organisation, because Starmer, his government and the government before, never did anything to stop these far left demos. They've now put themselves in a right cleft stick. They've basically arrested as many as they could, 150 pensioners. How's that going to change anything? It's not. It's another cock up by Starmer. Likewise, backing Israel before he speaks to Donald Trump. Who the hell does he think he is? I don't like saying this, but we're not that powerful a country anymore. He should keep his nose out. He also wants to stick his nose into Trump's peace talks with Putin. He thinks he should be there. He wrote a letter this morning to Zelensky saying he fully supports him. Listen, the most powerful man in the world has arranged to have a chat with the second most powerful man. The last thing Donald Trump needs is a mosquito, and that's all you are, a mosquito on his arse trying to stir up trouble. Shut the F up, Starmer. You've got enough to deal with at home. Are you with me or against me? Start commenting. I want to hear from you. I just cannot believe we've got this idiot as a prime minister. We need an election, and we need it now. Have you signed the petition? I think it's over 500,000 people already. That just illustrates the anger. Today, even the BBC, after all their bias, on their website, they've got people are angry behind the wave of asylum hotel protests. We're not happy with these men in this hotel because we fear for our children. Orla Mullane tells me, if that makes me far right, then so be it. Even the BBC is changing its attitude and recognising that the migrant hotel demos are full of ordinary people, working class mums and dads who are worried about their daughters, their children, their wives, their girlfriends, etc., etc. When is Starmer going to realise this? Is he in his bunker? So he's doing nothing to deal with Britain's real problems. Absolutely sweet F.A. Do you agree with me? The migrant hotel demos are exploding. Far left thugs are running wild at these demos. It's them who are causing the trouble, all masked up. The police are knocking on innocent people's doors in Nuneaton. Did you see that video on YouTube? Where basically they're saying, I know you're going to the demo tomorrow. And the cop is embarrassed. And he's giving him a leaflet about how to behave on a demo. Last time I looked, we have an absolute right to demonstrate about anything. It's called free speech. And then, of course, the boats are still coming across the channel. Today, they reckon it's well on the way to 500 migrants. What was that you said, Keir? 1 in, 1 out? No chance, mate. It's 500 in today and not 1 out. You absolute plonker. So I'm Jon Gaunt, and I'm calling it exactly as it is. I want to know what you think about this. Where the hell is Starmer? Why is he not addressing the nation? Why wasn't he in Nuneaton? There was a demo there this afternoon at 1:00. He could have popped along like he did to Southport. Is this all part of his game? Is he hiding in the bunker, waiting for the streets to explode so he can jump out and brand us all as far-right thugs? Is that the agenda? Because this isn't leadership. This is moral and political cowardice. I'm Jon Gaunt, and I'm calling it exactly as it is. I'm saying Starmer is finished. I'm saying we need an election now. I'm saying we've got a migrant crisis, and the hotel demos are going to explode, and we don't want that to happen. No one wants violence, do they? UK politics is in the gutter, and our society is swiftly following suit. Am I overreacting, or do you agree with me? Jamie McFarlane, he just says, hi, John. Well, hi, Jamie. Do you want to make a point? It'd be much more useful if you did. So that's the agenda, if there's an agenda at all. Only 5 likes so far. Numbers are building in terms of people watching. That's all great. If you want to make a comment, you just do it at the bottom of the screen. As I say, my name is Jon Gaunt. This is my view of the world, but I want your view as well. So feel free to put your comments in, and let's get this conversation going. Because as I say, the biggest question today is, where the hell is Starmer? He hasn't been around for days. He's made these messages come out about Israel, about the Ukraine, about Donald Trump. But he's not, if you notice, he's not on the coverage today with Lami. Has he gone away for a weekend? I know he's got strong views on Ukraine and certain people in Ukraine. Why isn't he talking to us about the problems on our streets? Maybe he'll be at this conference tomorrow with Lami and some other leaders, the coalition of the useless? I don't know. But what I'm saying is, if you're a leader, isn't the clue in the title? You're meant to lead. So all across the United Kingdom today, there are massive protests erupting outside the migrant hotels. And tensions are beginning to spill over. Did you see that young reporter get attacked? She works for GB News. She was attacked. She had to have a bodyguard. But it wasn't the so-called far right, was it? It was the Antifa mob, masked up, pushing her around. And all she was doing was saying, give me your side of the argument. And they gave it her, which was basically to intimidate and be violently and physically aggressive to her. I thought it was a disgrace. And I think this violence is just going to continue to break out. And probably tonight. I think Nuneaton went off quite calmly, but you wouldn't really know, because the mainstream media, although I detect a difference today, even in the BBC, they're not necessarily calling everybody far right, because this is a genuine public outcry. Genuinely, working class people have had enough. They're working hard. They're doing their bit. They're trying to make this work, this country work. They're paying their taxes, and they've seen all of these people come in. They hear the fine words from Starmer, but nothing changes. The boats keep coming. Do you see where I'm coming from? So these people, I think it could well kick off. I don't want it to, of course, like any sane person. But what I do want is, I want the demand for a general election to increase. Are you with me or against me on that? Do we need I know it's kind of, in a way, a bit of a hypothetical question, because technically only him or the king could call it, but it all builds pressure on him. He's the most unpopular PM in history. Everything he touches, he gets wrong. He's just got the Ukraine wrong by interfering at the wrong moment. Leave it to the big boys, Starmer. Leave it to Donald Trump and Putin. he's also intervened, hasn't he, in the Israeli conflict, saying he's going to recognise Palestine. J.D. Vance, the vice president, comes over, stays at Lami's house, don't ask me why, and he said there's no way on God's earth that the United States are going to recognise a terrorist state like Palestine. Now, whether you agree with that description of Palestine, if America says no, it just isn't going to happen, is it? So again, Starmer's interfering. Let Trump have the meeting with Putin. Let's see what comes out of it when it comes to Ukraine and also when it comes to Israel and the trouble, well, the war. So I don't think it's genocide, but the killings, the horrid killings in Gaza. You can't influence it with your coalition of the useless, Mr. Starmer. But where are you? What you could influence is the migrant hotel riots or demos. Have you been to any of them? What do you think about Antifa? What do you think today about the fact that you've got the police to arrest basically 150 Grebo students and old age pensioners who support the Palestinian cause? Because you proscribed it, because you were at the end of your tether. You and your useless chocolate fireguard of a Home Secretary, Yvette Cooper, didn't know what to do. As I keep saying, you've got the Midas touch in reverse. Everything you touch turns to SH1T. Now, you've got a petition against you demanding an immediate general election. And last time I looked, it was well over 400,000, I think. I'm hearing now it's more like 500,000 signatures and counting. Now, most people will know that won't make really a blind different bit of difference, apart from it illustrates the real public anger that is out there. I keep talking to people about this, even people who are Labour voters, and they say, yeah, the man's dreadful, the man's a winker, he's useless, blah, 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 blah. Nobody likes him. As I keep saying, he's become the Millwall of UK politics. But he's not even that entertaining, is he? The man, not only that, it's worse. He's a danger to all of us. He's a complete danger. Don't forget, he still wants to get your kids to fight for Ukraine. Where's he coming from? How does he think he could ever make that happen? So he's promising to recognize the Palestinian state if Israel listened to him. Why would Israel listen to him? And this is where it's really dangerous. Israel provides us with loads of spies, spooks, whatever you want to call them, and intelligence information about the very people who want to kill us, who hate our way of life, because we've got a similar enemy. Who does Hamas? Who funds Hamas? Who does Hamas fund? It all comes via Iran, doesn't it? Meanwhile, Starmer, because he hasn't vetted not one single person who's come over in a rubber dinghy, and he makes all this play yesterday and the day before about, oh, yeah, we're getting tough on them, we're going to send them back. But he chooses his words carefully. It isn't a guarantee. Well, it's a bit like your mum when your mum says to you, is that a promise or a threat? And she says it's both. And then you know you're really in the SH1T. Not with Starmer. He's not been clear if it's a threat or a promise. And the facts are, even by his numbers, it's only 1 in 17 going back. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. This week alone, in fact, today, there's been, I think, nearly 400, 500 people come in. That's more, 10 times more than he's going to send back in a week. Because he says 50. Well, he doesn't say. He hasn't put a figure on that either. So you don't know. And as Mike Yardley said the other day, of course, foreign states who are our enemies, could be China, could be Russia, could be an Arab state, could be a terrorist state, could be Hamas themselves. Are they getting in, and have they already got in to Britain via Dover? I'd hazard a guess they have. So next time they bring their Deliveroo round to you, be careful what you order in case they give you a side order of terrorism. He's simply not up to the job. And maybe he's now recognized it. Maybe he's hiding in his bunker. One can only hope he's got the metaphorical glass of whiskey and the revolver with him. I'm not saying to do that. Practically, it's a metaphor, right? That's just for YouTube so they understand I'm not promoting violence. I'm telling you, Starmer is hiding. He does it every time. Whenever the proverbial is hitting a fan in the UK, he's off on a foreign trip. The man is a charlatan. The man's a liar. The man's a fraud. He's weak. And at the risk of sounding like Joy Division and change it a little bit, he's lost control. This is Jon Gaunt. It's live. And I want your voices now in the chat below. Just type away whatever you want to say. Are you furious? Are you disappointed? Do you agree with me that Starmer is playing some sort of sixth form, sick style of politics while Britain burns? Type it out. Let's go. You tell me what you think, but I think we're in a real crisis. I think he should call a state of emergency, and I believe he should do that immediately. He should put the troops on the beach at Dover. I'd put them in bloody Calais myself, but that might cause a bit more trouble. He should also put the Navy in the Channel. Anybody arrives, straight into an old army camp, barbed wire around them, and do not let them out. Do not play Russian roulette with our wives, our daughters, I don't know how many times I'm going to have to say this, but I'm going to keep using that phrase because that's what he's doing. He's put these guys, metaphorically, these single blokes of fighting age from a totally alien culture to ours, in the proverbial sweet shop. And he's almost saying, yeah, it's a pick a mix, on you go. He's almost, choosing my words carefully, complicit in any sexual attacks or violence that happens. And then when we, the common people, as Jarvis Cocker would call us, stand up and say, no, we don't want this in our country. This is fundamentally changing our nation. We're smeared as far right, or right at least. We're not far right. As I've said weeks ago in these podcasts, we're not far right. We are right. This is a great country that has given opportunity to millions of people over the years, millions of immigrants, millions of people have come here and made it their home and contributed. We are tolerant. We are generous. We are charitable. We are caring. We are not racist. I love it when they interview these women on these. There's one today on GB News. She was just, I thought, you for Prime Minister, love. She just laughed when they said they call you far right. She just laughed. She said, we're just looking after our children and our grandchildren. Starmer, now, this time, he pushed it far enough with Southport. I think he's pushed it much too far. I don't think he can recover. So I say, time's up, Keir Starmer. Get out of our country, as Barbara Windsor would say in EastEnders. He's got to go. He's got to give us an election. Now, I know you're going to say, but who would replace him? There isn't anyone around at the moment. Yes, but the first thing is to get rid of this sniveling piece of, oh, you know what I mean. Are you with me or against me? Thank you for pressing the like button up to 15. That's good. Lots of people watching. That's good because I didn't give you any warning. I only really decided 10 minutes ago I wanted to do it. I just sitting there getting angry. I think it was also because Coventry City, God, that was dire, wasn't it? 1-1. 0-0, I mean. What a dreadful game of football. I know it's the first game of the season, and that new kit, it's crap. Anyway, I've had my say on that, so that'll get all the Coventry fans on me. But that was appalling. That was appalling. We should have hammered Hull. They were useless. We should have taken them apart. But back to the serious stuff. I say Starmer must give us an election. Have you signed the petition? Would you sign it? Do you want an election? And do you want him out? Where are we next? Stone Island Hammer just says true. What's true? All of it? I don't know. But thank you, my friend, for joining in. I think the country needs an election to stop an uprising. There's going to be civil war the way it's going. I know where you're coming from, Jackie Ward, on Facebook. I'm not sure it's a civil war, but you're right. The tension is huge. I just don't want it to overspill because the danger is, I think the women in pink, right? I think they've played a blinder because they have clearly not started any of the trouble and they haven't really retaliated. Sophie Reader, I think her name is, the woman on GB News who was reporting who got attacked by the left-wing mob, the Antifa mob. She didn't react either. And the big burly bouncer behind him. Now, don't get worked up about that. Whenever you do that kind of thing, they'll send somebody or two people to look after you. And that Sophie Reaper, is that her name? But I thought she did really well. And by not reacting, it shows people who the real hoodlums and villains are. Do you see what I'm saying? So I don't want people who are protesting now to get violent. But I tell you one thing I did think. I had some sympathy for the migrants last night watching these protests because they're in the hotel and you got the mums shouting outside and saying, send them home, whatever, and singing Starmer is a wanker, right? Yeah. And then you got the left-wingers trying to cause a fight. You got the coppers aiding and abetting. The coppers have been dreaded. I'm a massive supporter of the police. But at the moment, I think it's disgusting the way they favoured the left wing, and they shouldn't. And then there's that guy, I'm going to try and get him on, who wrote the song about Starmer, the Christmas song. Do you remember? He's now come out and said, when he was working at Radio Newcastle, the news was always biased against the right-wing politics and views. He's the first person who's worked for the BBC, like myself, although I don't think he'd worked there for as long as I did. I was a freelancer there for about 20-odd years. But the bias that he describes, I know exactly what he means. So I'm going to try and get him on the show next week sometime, get a set-piece interview with him, because he's saying interesting things. They should be impartial, the BBC. If they don't want to be impartial, go private and we'll see how long they last. August Moore. Hello, John, sir. You don't have to call me sir, but thank you very much. He says, if it's true, it's true you took the marching powder in Coventry. I heard this from a gangster back when you had a nightclub. I think he said you loved the gear. So you believe a gangster. I think I know you took a gangster, hardly. If that's the person who I think it is, well, you believe whatever you will believe. I'll tell you exactly what I did do, Augusta. More when I was at university, I did take an awful lot of drugs, including cocaine. I then realised, and it's all on the record, this, so I don't know what your problem is. I realised what a prat I was. You think when you take cocaine, you're some kind of Superman, you're witty, you're wise, you're creative, you're talented. You're just a snot, snivelling little shyster. That's what you are. And I realised that. And I haven't taken hard drugs in the last 35, 40 years, if you want to know. So, but if you want to believe a self-described gangster who's trying to flog his book, you believe him. I don't mind. I stand by my record. And if you look back at my archive, you can find it on Jon Gaunt TV, you'll see that I personally have talked about this. Why don't you read my book and you'll find out even more. It's called Undaunted. But don't try to embarrass me by it, because I'm not embarrassed. And I certainly didn't take it in Coventry. I was not on cocaine when I came back and I formed my theatre company and then got into radio and all the rest of it. No, I wasn't. So, but anyway, I put the record straight. Try harder if you want to embarrass me. James McIrvin, monsters are everywhere. Yes, they are. But we don't need to import a load more, do we? Is the answer to that stupid point. But thank you for it. Keir Starmer is a man of big words and zero action, says Graham Hatton on YouTube. Nice way to sum him up. He's clearly out of his depth. He needs to do this decent thing and call an election. I nearly said an erection there. Shut it, John. I doubt that he will. He's a man of no conscience. That's the opinion of Graham Hatton, AOR Guru on YouTube. Good points. Thank you for making them. Stephen Killick, Jon Gaunt for PM. Oh, I agree. Yeah, that'd be good. Although I used to say I couldn't afford the wage cut. I'd like the wage increase now. And also, just for hiding, I can do hiding. I can do hiding for the money that he's on. He needs to go. I presume Thomas Sutherland Millon on Facebook, you're talking about Mr. Starmer, not me. But yes, I agree with you. Here's an interesting one. Derek Rue. He says, as an American watching from the outside, this is on Facebook, looking in, we hope that the UK stands up and parents do defend their children. Thank you, Derek. Thank you for your support. We need more people like you. What we basically need, Derek, both in this country and in the United States of America, but I think in the United States of America, you've got it more than us, is patriots. People who get behind the country and say, we're not going to be treated like this. But you see, we've got these lick-spittle politicians. Like I say, at the moment, we've got an MP who wants, a prime minister who wants to interfere on the world stage all the time. Meanwhile, his own house is, literally with him, his own house is burning down. You need to look after your rear door as well as your front door. Sorry, what do you mean? No, I didn't mean that. You need to look after your rear and your front door, Starmer. You need to look after us, and you need to understand that the first responsibility of a prime minister isn't to stand on a podium and say the first duty is this, is to actually do it. Protect your own citizens. I don't think you've got the stomach for the job. I think it's worse than that. I actually think you are trying to destroy the country. So if you think I'm wrong, let's have an election. And maybe you'll get elected again with a majority of 100 or whatever it is, a huge majority, 140 something, isn't it? But somehow I doubt it, because you've been caught out as a liar, a fraudster, a con man with the amount of U-turns you've done. And now soon we're going to get hammered for massive taxes, which you promised wouldn't happen. Then you employed a woman to be the Chancellor who can add up less than Diane Abbott with her abacus. That's what you did. You also had a health minister. Was she health? I think she was. Who had been done for fraud, the mobile phone lady. You also had, as I say, Rachel Reeves, the Chancellor, who falsified her CV. Anybody in normal life would get the bullet. You also had another woman who was in charge of standards in public office or something and fraud. She's up on a charge now in Bangladesh with her auntie for being allegedly on the fiddle. You also had another woman who was going to reform the rented sector. Do I need to go on? She then evicted her tenants, put the rent up by 700 quid and put the property back on the market. You told us that the grown-ups were back in charge and it was time for grown-up government. What you actually gave us was a corrupt bunch of shysters who wouldn't even get in the sixth form debating society, and when they lose, they start bawling their eyes out. And then you ignore her in the Commons. You cruel bastard. You ignore her crying. Are you the kind of bloke who would cross the road as the Samaritan gets a kicking? I think you probably would. Do you know why? You ain't got a backbone. You ain't got a moral code. You've not got a political philosophy. At least Jeremy Corbyn and that Sultana woman know what they stand for. It might be nonsense, but at least they know what they stand for. I'm surprised you can stand at all because you ain't got a spine. Time to go. Time's up. Call an election, a vote of confidence, whatever you want to call it, and we'll help you. We will help you. I can't read out what you've written, Bob Hunter, because you're going to try and get me the sack with something like that. So please don't say that. And Matthew White, please be careful what you're saying as well about David Lami, because it just isn't on. Why the silence regards the 3 Ukrainian Starmer rent boys still in custody, not on trial till July 2026? Well, the argument is they're on remand. The argument is they will be on trial. I'm just telling you what the argument is. I'm not sure there's necessarily a conspiracy theory there. Just like you, I would like to know more. I'd like to know how come they knew his addresses, how come they targeted him, what was it about. One can only hope that's going to come out in the fullness of time. because at the moment we're bound by the courts. We can't really talk about it. Mark the Vicar, says, we're already in a World War III where we're not allowed to pick sides. I think you're right there, Mark. I think you're right. Well, I've almost run out of time. I've certainly run out of comments. That's not bad from a standing start. I didn't know if anybody would be watching or willing to watch on a Saturday afternoon after being depressed with Coventry only drawing. Thank God I didn't go. I watched it on the telly. There's too much football. It's only day one of the season. There's just too much, isn't it? It's all just hyped up too much. What's this? Oh, this is a good one. I love the shirt, John, says Ian C. He's trying to be a comedian. Aren't pineapples the symbol of the swinging fraternity? I don't know, are they? But looking at your picture, I doubt whether you could even get one bird, let alone swing. But there we are. Thank you for your comment. What is this? Let's pick on Gaunty Day. Have the lefties come off? The lefties who haven't been arrested, they're off the demo early, so they think they can put the boot in. It's a pineapple symbol. I've only just found out what an aubergine is. And I love aubergines. But I've only just found out what that emoji means. But it only means it to idiots. It doesn't mean it's just rubbish. Just rubbish. Right, I'm finished. If you want to help me out, donate some cash, do feel free, please. Press that little $ at the bottom of the video. If you've enjoyed it, you can donate anything you fancy. Yeah, a couple of quid, 200 quid. I wonder whether anybody's ever... One bloke did contribute 100 quid. I think that's the high... Oh, no, 300 quid. A guy called David did that, runs an estate agency. I think his houses are brilliant, by the way. I don't know. I'm joking, but I could do with some big contributions, but I could do with small ones as well. Or you can go to www.buymeacoffee.com/Jon Gaunt, and you can donate anything from a £5 upwards. Lots of you do that. It's been quite good this week for donations. Thank you very much indeed. But they're all welcome. Jenny Murphy says, a gang got 70 years for smuggling illegals out of Britain. No, I was just going to have a go at you, Jenny. Then I read what you actually said. That's very funny. That's very, very funny indeed. Get rid of Keir Starmer, says Corey Stenner. Yeah, well, that's what we're talking about. Do we need a general election to get rid of him? How do we get rid of him? What happens after this weekend? And that's one of the reasons why I did this today. I've got a feeling I'm going to be doing another one tomorrow morning. It's going to have to be early if I do, because it's my daughter's birthday. Well, it's her birthday yesterday, but it's we're going to have like a party for tomorrow. So I'll be out in the afternoon and in no state probably to do it afterwards. So I might have to do one in the morning, depending on what happens tonight. But I just believe we're a powder keg now, ready to explode. I believe it's the Prime Minister's duty, responsibility to try and bring us together, right? Put an arm around us, try and find the common ground. That's what a leader is meant to do, because this aggression on the streets cannot carry on. It cannot carry on, can it? What's that saying? Jenny Murphy saying, yeah, but it's true, though. What, though? They got 70 years for getting people out of the country. I don't know about that. All right, but thank you for your comment anyway. And Corey Stenner says, good man. Yes, I am. You're right. Anyway, so I might have to do one tomorrow. So the reason I did this one today was I wanted to get in there and say, look, I predicted this. I have been predicting this for weeks and weeks and weeks, that he's hiding, he's not dealing with it, he's not coping with it, and he's not putting the British people first. And that's what he should do. And I can't believe he hasn't come and done the big speech. Bob Hunter, 99% of politicians are corporate stooges. Well, I'm coming around to that thought process myself, Bob. And Bob's been ever so good. He's just donated 2 quid here on YouTube. Bob, thank you. That's very generous of you. And it all helps. Thank you very, very much indeed. Don't forget, if you want to just donate now while I'm here on YouTube, all you do is press that little $ at the bottom of the screen. If you're listening on a podcast and you've never listened to the what do you call it? Watch the TV version of it, you'll find it at Jon Gaunt TV. Jon Gaunt TV. Go there and subscribe. Now, to subscribe, that's free, totally free. And then you just get all the notifications when I'm doing podcasts or broadcasts. You can download the audio version. You can download the video version. You can watch it on your phone, on your telly, wherever you want to watch it. Simple. Also, by doing that, you get notified when I'm doing a new show. So it's the cleanest way to keep in touch with what I'm doing. Jon Gaunt TV, YouTube, free. Just press that subscribe button. If you're watching now, just press it now. And if you are listening on a podcast, thank you very much, whether it's Apple or one of those other ones. Well, YouTube, we've got podcasts on YouTube now as well. It all helps. It all helps the numbers. So thank you very much indeed for that. And what you can do to help the most to spread the word about the Jon Gaunt show is to retweet it, share it on Facebook, push it out there, tell your mates, email all your mates and say, have you heard Jon Gaunt? He's brilliant. That's what you can say. Or you can say he's obnoxious. Or he's got pineapple T-shirts because he's a swinging cocaine addict. You can say whatever you want. As long as you talk about me, as long as you get my name right, and my age slightly younger, you'll be my friend for life. I'm pulling your leg. Right, I've got to go. I have got to go. Thank you. I like that. It's a funny line from Bob Hunter, who donated a couple of quid. He says, I need to go back to my virtual private network now. Yeah, while you can. Thank you very much indeed. 27 likes. That's brilliant for a Saturday afternoon. There won't be a Sunday afternoon show, as I say, but there might be a reaction show tomorrow morning, depending. I've got to go and pick up my daughter's birthday cake as well. So I've got a busy morning, but I've got a feeling they're going to wind me up today. So I might see you tomorrow. If not, I'll definitely see you Monday, because don't forget to do a show Monday to Thursday at 6:30 in the evening. So until we meet again, if you got kids, give them a kiss, give them a hug. Hey. Don't forget to tell them you love them. And sign that petition. Sign that petition. We need a general election now. Do you agree?